You had a good Christmas though?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Nice.
Really, really relaxed.
Mine too, but it was a forced relaxation.
That can be a good thing sometimes.
Yeah, I think I laid on my mom's couch and played video games for the better part of a week up in Wainwright, so I'm not complaining.
Amazing. Yeah. Although sometimes when you're under the weather, it's just like, at least you give yourself permission to do nothing.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah.
I could do that a little
Sleep
more
in
often.
a little,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No guilt.
Yeah,
None.
Yeah.
it is nice.
Well, we are back with episode 14 of Smack Talk with Seth and Mackenzie, powered by Blue Willow Entertainment. And we have a new title sponsor kicking off this next run of episodes. Happy Ending Divorce and Separation. Simple, affordable help for folks that are going through that, unfortunate or maybe fortunate circumstance of divorcing or separating. You can head to happyendingdivorceandseparation.com and save a whole bunch on lawyer fees and streamline the process if you're in sort of an amicable, no contest situation.
Yeah.
So there you go. New title sponsor.
Yeah, I was just saying, I feel like it's been a while since we've been down here. It's been about a month since we sat in these chairs.
It has been almost exactly a month since the last time we came down here. So I had to dust some things off and get her all going again. And we are excited to be joined by our friend Justin Kudding.
Happy to be here.
Thanks for making the drive out.
Oh, thanks for having me. Really excited to chat.
What is you wear a few different hats. So what's the title of choice that you like to throw out there?
I don't know if there's one that is the main one. I mean, the longest standing one is my musician hat.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing that, well, I mean, effectively since I graduated. I went on my first tour within months of graduating high school and never really looked back. So that's, well, I won't say exactly how many years it's been, but it's been a lot. So that's, I identify still, I think, mostly as a musician. But
bass player first and foremost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bass player.
Do you dabble on the other instruments at all, or?
There was a small chapter a few years where I was actually playing drums.
Okay.
Almost exclusively. It just so happened that a friend of mine was starting a band. They needed a drummer. I came up playing drums in church as well as bass, and I volunteered, and it stuck, and that rolled into a couple of other gigs coming down the line where people were asking me to play drums, and there was, I don't know, 3-4 years where I was doing maybe 90% drum gigs and 10% bass gigs, and I was loving it. But there did come a time when I decided that I wanted to get back to bass and make that the thing. It was my first love, and it's the instrument that I enjoyed playing the most, and I missed it. So stepped back from all the drum gigs and went back to bass full time.
And can you still hop on the kit and rock out, or has it been a minute?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, the last gig I did on drums was, oh boy, I want to say it was 2019 with Drew Gregory, a fun little gig in Banff, and a great little send-off to,
Retirement.
Yeah, to drum retirement. So I haven't done a gig since, so it's been a long time. I don't know. I'd love to sit down behind a kit again today and see what happens. But no, I don't really miss it because bass, there's something about it that just has always resonated with me. I grew up doing piano lessons and guitar lessons and vocal lessons, and nothing ever really stuck. My mom always had to force me to practice. I was never particularly motivated. And then in junior high, when I joined the junior high band class, it was mandatory. You had to be a part of it. And I was assigned the bass guitar. And as soon as I started with it, I became wildly obsessed. And there was something about it that just really spoke to me, and something that no other instrument really gripped me the same way that bass did. And it was kind of off to the races from there. But yeah, it's been music for a long time now, and that's been the main thing. And the other hat that I wear is being one of the partners at Plunge Audio.
Yeah.
And I mean, truth be told, the last 5 years, that has definitely taken up more mental space and has definitely commanded more of my time. So if we include just some recency bias here. Or maybe the main hat is running a company and wearing that hat. And like, the official title that you have to put on paperwork is CEO, but I hate giving myself that title. It just feels weird to me. I'm not that guy. But that probably is the bigger part of my life now, as much as music's still going great and I still love it. And I never want to walk away from it. It's just, it's not taking up as much of my, my time, but also just like what I'm dreaming about and what I'm working towards. I feel like I've accomplished a lot of great things in music, and I don't have that same thing keeping me up at night where it's like, oh, what's the next thing as a bass player? But for Plunge Audio, that's all I think about. What's the next thing for the company, and how can I grow this? Where can we go with it? And so that's probably the main thing now.
Well, let's talk about Plunge a little bit.
Sure.
Obviously, being a musician, well, let's just say, where did it come from? Where did you say, like, okay, there's a need for this in this ecosystem?
So I wasn't actually the original founder of the company.
Okay.
It was founded by a guy named Simon Fisk. I think he registered it back in 2013, although he had been at it for a few years prior to that. And I was a musician just using another brand of in-ear monitors. And I was doing a gig. This was probably back in 2012-ish. And my in-ear monitors fell off my shoulders and they hit the ground and they broke. And I had a gig just a couple days later. So I was freaking out. And I went on Facebook and I put this panic post up saying, does anybody know someone in Calgary who can fix in-ear monitors? And so a bunch of people tag this Simon Fisk guy. So talk to Simon, he'll help you. So I reached out and he said, yeah, come on down. He was working in the back in a laboratory of his brother's audiology office. Most of the time working for his brother, but just kind of in the cracks, he was tinkering with in-ear monitors and building in-ear monitors for people in the community. So I went in, met Simon. We had a great chat. He fixed my in-ear monitors on the spot, got me up and rolling. Didn't charge me anything. He just, oh, it's been great to meet you. We've had a great chat. Don't worry about it. Like, I hope these work great for you. And I left that day just thinking, okay, whatever this guy is selling, I am buying. And so I reached out again shortly after and said, dude, I loved our conversation. Thank you so much for helping me. But like, I want to start using what you're building. There's nothing wrong with the ones that I have, at least thanks to you, but I don't want them anymore. I want what you're doing. So he built me a set and I took those out on the road, did a few gigs. And it was laughable how much better they were than what I was using before. But there was one thing that he kind of integrated into the design that I was struggling with a little bit. So I reached out after a couple of months. Said, hey man, I'm loving these, but I'm wondering if like we can just do one little tweak to them. And he was super open to that conversation. And so I went down to the shop again and we had a good chat. And he said, okay, how about this? I'll build you a new set. And I have some ideas of how to fix this. So I'll just build you something totally fresh and then take those on the road and let me know if that fixes the issue. So I did. And I reached out again after a few shows and I said, okay, like that's way better. Like if we're in this mode now and we're having these types of conversations, there's one other thing I was kind of thinking. Oh, awesome. Okay, come on by. We have another conversation. And he's like, okay, I'm going to build you another set. I've got some more ideas on how to fix that. And like, yeah, let me see what I can do for you. He built me a third set and I take those on the road. And that just started this relationship between Simon and I, where I kind of, in a sense, became the guinea pig for the company and started taking all these prototypes out. And he'd wake up in the middle of the night, have this brainstorm about something he could do. And he'd call me up and say, is it okay if I build you something else for you to test? Absolutely. And he probably built me, I don't know, dozens of in-ear monitors. And through this whole process, we became really good friends. And I started spending a bunch of time with him at the shop. Just whenever I was home, I'd go even just to have a coffee. But sometimes he'd have, who knows, maybe it was some new cables laying around and go, oh, while you're here, like check out these new cables and see which one sounds the best. And we just really built this trust. And I learned a lot about the process, a lot about the company, a lot about Simon. And in 2018, he had grown the company to the point where, well, it was a lot bigger than I think he ever saw it getting. In a lot of ways, it was an accidental company. Simon didn't set out to, he wasn't this tech entrepreneur that set out to build this giant company and operate it and everything. He's a creative guy that had these great ideas, and he liked to tinker and build. And so when it took off, people saw like, this guy's doing something special. It got to the point where he started to just not get overwhelmed, but there was like so much more to operating it than I think he had ever like thought he was signing up for. And so he sat me down and said, listen, man, I could really use a partner, and I want it to be you. And initially I said, well, dude, I'm a musician. I'm not a business person. I'm not the guy to talk to here. Also, I like what I do and I'm busy and I'm good. So like, thanks. But I don't know if this is the fit. And then over the course of about another year, he wasn't harping on the idea, but he did start coming to me with more of like the inside business stuff that he was struggling with and just asking for help with things. And I did my best just off the cuff to try and help him navigate a few of his situations. And there was one in particular that was pretty challenging for him. And him and I just kind of brainstormed, and we came up with a solution and got him out of this situation. And after that, he was like, okay, I don't care that you're not a quote unquote business guy, but like, it's got to be you. Like, this just works, man. So he was very generous with the whole situation and just went, by the way, if we're doing this, like, I don't want it to be the type of thing where, you get 10% of the company and I'm still in control. He's like, I want a partner, like 50-50. I don't want 50% plus one, so I get to make the decisions, like truly like a true partnership. And I still want it to be you. So like, let's figure something out. And so we did. And over the course of that year, I'd also been reflecting on the idea a lot, and it actually started to make more and more sense the more I thought about it, because I love my job. I love being on the road. I love playing shows and producing music and everything that I was doing. But at the end of the day, I knew there would come a time, maybe not soon, but eventually, where maybe it wouldn't make sense to be on the road so much. As my family was growing or having kids, and as I'm just getting older and maybe don't want to be spending 200 days traveling every year, maybe it would be cool to invest in something now that could turn into an option where I could get off the road one day. And so it started to make more sense. We started to get closer, and I started helping with more and more things aside from like the design of the IEMs, but more like internally in the business anyways. And so eventually we just pulled the trigger. That was in 2019. And I mean, it was interesting timing because I got like one good year in with the company before, everything went to shit.
No one's touring anymore.
Yeah.
No one's needing that.
But that, I mean, I won't get big into it, but that time ended up being super valuable. And we utilized it in a way that really set the company up for much longer term success and more scalability. But that's a whole different story. But he invited me in, and I ended up buying half the company and have been a partner with Simon ever since.
Amazing.
It's a great story.
It is a great story.
I have an idea for a new title for you. If you don't want to use CEO,
please.
You can use CIEO, Chief In-Ear Officer.
There you go. I like it.
That is good.
That's so good.
Nice
Done.
one.
I think it's 2026. You can make your title whatever the fuck you want. So,
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
No, another thing you said when you were talking about bass playing, and you said back to base, and I was like, that's got to be a title for something.
Back to base. That might be the title of the episode.
Like back to basics, right? Back to base.
Who were some of your who were you inspired by in the bass playing world when you were getting going, and maybe even now?
Yeah. it kind of went in chapters.
Mm.
My first favorite bass player was actually Flea.
Okay.
I mean,
That's a good one.
is it the performance or just like his actual bass playing or like the whole package?
you know, the things I appreciate about him have also evolved over time.
Mm.
So it started out with just like how flashy he was
Mhm.
and these insane bass lines that were driving the songs and were so engaging and just had like, I don't know, they had so much gumption and attitude and you could really build a song around that guy so easily. And I was just enthralled by the fact that he wasn't interested in just like doing the typical bass player thing, which is like, oh, I'll just hang out on the root note. Like, no, this is my song now.
Yeah.
Like he just
Super
made every
cool.
song his bitch.
Yeah.
And I found that to be very compelling.
How responsible would you say he is for the overall sound of the Chili Peppers?
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Huge.
like huge, but I wouldn't actually give him more than 25%.
Really?
Okay. You think it's all for?
100%.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Chad also has such a signature pocket and sound that is, I think, really helps define what the Chili Peppers are. Everybody in that group is so like uniquely perfect for their role in that group. I don't think Frusciante gets enough credit.
Mm-hmm. I was just gonna say that Frusciante was the like when you're talking about equal partners. It was when Frusciante was like from the beginning when like before he left and then came back, but like when he was
He had such cool solo stuff too.
Absolutely.
Frusciante.
And like weirdly gutsy tone as well, because like his sound is like oddly clean for the style of music that they're playing. And I feel like it takes some cojones to actually have that be your sound in that band. But it doesn't sound small. It doesn't sound like it's lacking any energy. And I know it's such a unique and interesting part of the voice of that band. Like everybody just brings so much to the table. So it wasn't, it's not so much that I looked at this as like, this is Flea's sound or this is his band. It was just like what he's doing to this and the role he plays, I found really fascinating. And he was my first favorite bass player. And I learned, I mean, all the Chili Peppers tunes. And that's also great exercise. If you're wanting to figure your chops out on the bass, go hang out with some Flea bass lines for a little while. That'll get your fingers going.
I think that's where I fell in love with bass. Is when I fell in love with Red Hot Chili Peppers.
You wanted to be a bass player.
I did.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's like I don't play any instruments. But if I were to, always since my youth, I would say I wanted to be a bass player.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What was it about it?
Like what I was just saying, I think it was probably Flea for me. Like, because I got into the Chili Peppers when I was, a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And like those bass lines are so incredible.
Yeah.
And they do really add to the song, like you're saying. A lot of bass, if you don't notice it, if you're not listening for it, you just think it's part of the melody, right?
Yeah.
But in the Chili Pepper songs, well, a lot of the songs, like he opens the songs with the bass, right? Like it's like you hear the bass first.
Yeah. The dude doesn't hide. And not to say that there isn't like a place for that. Another bass player that it was interesting. I was actually more enthralled by the band itself. And I was learning the bass lines and picking them up, but I never really obsessed over the player himself until later. But that was John Paul Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a guy who he walks a really interesting line because, I mean, he can drive a song and take control of it and command it with his parts the way that Flea can with a Chili Pepper song. But he's also down to just throw down something weighty and heavy and just make it groove and be a little bit more, quote unquote, invisible. So he, I think, is a great example of actually the way that I've tried to craft my playing. People like John Paul Jones. There's a few people that I actually really modeled myself after. Because Flea, as much as I found him highly inspirational and he was my first favorite bass player, I wouldn't say I actually modeled my playing after Flea. I modeled my playing after mostly a guy named Jimmy Lee Sloas, who is a Nashville session cat.
Cool.
And I mean, he's played on everybody's albums. He's one of the most recorded bass players in Nashville. And his bass playing actually made the most sense to me on a few fronts. One, I just found like the melodic instincts that he had and the way that he would connect notes and move between things was so it was this weird like it was busy without sounding busy. And if you just put the bass line on an island, you're like, well, that's too much. What are you doing? But then you put it in the song, and like if you chose to listen to it, it could be the thing about the song that you love the most. But if you weren't listening to it, it would disappear somehow still.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And not only did I find that to be fascinating and inspiring, but also when I was kind of coming up and in a sense taking stock of like what's going on in the Canadian music industry, like who are the bass players, who are the people that you know, I'm trying to walk into their world. This is their space. And so like I got to find what my role is in all of this. And so I started doing deep dives on like you know, Chris Byrne and John Diamond and Ken Siniev and like all these incredible Canadian musicians who like they were owning the scene. Not just, there's many more, but one of the sounds that I just saw was maybe like nobody was really copying it, was that Jimmy Lee Slow sound. I could draw parallels between, you know, this Canadian bass player and this guy from LA, or this Canadian bass player and this guy from Nashville. And, you know, the one sound that was really popular in country music, especially coming out of Nashville, was Jimmy Lee Slow. And like, it didn't seem like there's any comparable bassists that were actually like doing what Jimmy does, but doing it up here. And so I also saw it as a bit of an opportunity. Like if I can try and capture some of the essence of what Jimmy's doing, that might actually create a bit of a lane for me in a place where I'm not competing with these like super well-established monster players. Like that just sounded like a bad idea to me. If I try to sound like whatever, like Chris Byrne, like I'll always just be a slightly worse version of Chris Byrne. So like where's a lane I can kind of, or a path I can carve out for myself where I can actually craft a sound that is unique to me and that there's room for it here in the industry. And Jimmy Lee Slow was that sound.
Cool.
Yeah.
I got to look this guy up now.
It's incredible. Yeah.
It's funny because you said, you know, you weren't really a business guy when you were talking to your partner back in the day. But that everything you just explains to me that you're a business guy.
I mean, fair enough.
So
I guess in a sense you could label that as like a gap analysis.
Right, like a business decision. You made a business decision, right? Like you're like, this isn't going to work. I have to do this.
Well, at the end of the day,
if I want to succeed in this business, right?
It is a business, I guess, at the end of the day. Like I try to be careful with how much I approach it with that business lens. Like it has to be part of my thought process for everything I'm doing music. But at the end of the day, like it can also hijack your mentality and really take away from what the art is actually about and the inspiration of it all and like why we're all truly here. But yeah, I think if you can take some business type principles and apply them, it can go a long ways. And I didn't really know that I was applying a business principle at the time. It just seemed to make sense to me. Like, where's there a gap in like how everybody sounds? Because that just seemed like a sound strategy to me when I was, 17, 18 years old. And I will say, like, my sound has changed a lot since then, even. And as much as I was trying to emulate Jimmy Lee Slow and everything he was doing, like, and I'm glad I did that. But I have gotten away from that too, so that I can define my own personal voice more and more as time goes on, because I don't just want to be a slightly worse version of Jimmy Lee Slow either. But it did help build, I think, a really strong and unique foundation for me to have something to bring to the industry that was a little bit unique up here. So
I love that.
That's smart. See?
I don't know if you would have an opinion on this, but if you were to stack rank the 3 bass players from Metallica, 1 through 3, do you have a hot take there?
I don't know if I do. The only reason is, so Cliff Like he passed away before I really got into Metallica, and really knew what I was listening for. Jason, it's not fair to him that like when he was in the band, I was totally on a different thread musically. And at that time, that's when I was getting into like more gospel and fusion and jazz stuff. So I'm like, well, this is boring.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to go listen again. And because I'm sure he brought immense value to the group, but I just didn't see it at the time.
He kind of got a lot of hate there when he left.
Did he?
It seemed like, yeah, they did like that documentary and the guys kind of all blamed him, and it was interesting.
But like, I will say, like, Robert is a monster.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's just because it's recency bias, or I just appreciate what he does more now than I did then. But like, I don't know, Robert seems to be doing a hell of a job.
It does seem to. Yeah, their new stuff sounds great.
Yeah.
And those guys, they got to be 70-ish? 75?
60s maybe.
60s?
I don't know.
Late 50s, early 60s.
Those first records came out in like 80.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're probably in their 60s, late 60s.
Yeah. That was my top of mind thought about a band that had like 3 clear distinctions on bass over their career.
Yeah. I should do a deep dive.
Yeah, there you go. When you got some free time.
Yeah.
We'll follow up over coffee.
Okay.
I'll give you my hot take then.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You are a JUNO and CCMA award winner for bass playing and also producing, I believe, for Brett Kissel. Is that right? Yeah. So Brett Kissel, I guess you've been playing with him for like what?
It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And touring. Also obviously on records as well, playing on the records and touring.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fun. He's been doing lots of stuff.
Oh, he never stops. I mean, the guy's the Energizer Bunny. It's crazy. Like, he just always has a new idea and something else he wants to embark on. And I appreciate that a lot about him. I think it can leave him a little scattered at times, but he's got a great team around him to help kind of dial in all these ideas and like latch onto the things that make sense to move into it in a given time. But one of the things I've actually always really appreciated about Brett is that he does like to record his music, well, a portion of his music in Canada, and uses his team. He has been incredibly loyal to not just the people in the band, but to, there's kind of a community of Canadian producers and musicians and industry folk that he's been working with really since the beginning. And it never really mattered how big he got. It was just like, well, no, this is my tribe, and I'm going to keep working with these people. And it doesn't matter what's at stake. And he's had some success with some of the stuff he's built with his Canadian team. And that means a lot to me. Because even, there's instances where people might do some work with their Canadian band, but typically it's probably going to be something that is not going to be a single, and it's maybe more a token thing, or maybe it's a CanCon play or whatever. But Brett's, there's no shortage of singles that have come out that have been like recorded by Canadian producers with Canadian musicians in a Canadian studio. And he's not afraid to just lean into that and promote it in spite of the fact that it wasn't done in Nashville. So that's given me and a lot of people kind of in his circle incredible opportunities to grow and be challenged. Because at the end of the day, like, we still need to keep up. Yeah. And when you're working with awesome people like Bart McKay, which he's a person he's had a relationship with from the very beginning and who's produced so much music for him. Like, to me, everything Bart does, it's on the level. It doesn't matter who else Brett's working with. Like, it hangs. And so I love when Brett asks us to, and by us I mean myself and Spencer Cheen, because we produce everything together. When he asks us to get in on the production front, it's like, okay, we've got a high bar to hit here. And it's always like just such an awesome growth opportunity. And it also could be a fantastic just music business opportunity, depending on what happens with the song. And there's been some cool things that he's done with some of the songs that we've worked on. And it's been a bit of a game changer for us, for sure.
So that's another hat you wear, obviously, is in production. Mm-hmm. Is it just with Brett that you do that?
No.
So who else are you working with in the production world?
Oh boy. So Spencer and I have done the last few Devin Cooper albums. We just did the last Mariah Stokes record. Kai Gamble's been someone we've worked with for a long time. Trying to think who else is on the spot here. I'm so bad with names.
It's okay.
But yeah, no, this has been part of my career, something I've kind of done. I don't want to call it like part-time. It's just like when it happens, and we just, when the opportunity is there, Spencer and I kind of integrated into what we're doing. And so some years are busier than others, but there've been some years where that's probably been the biggest part of that particular year is actually music production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Mariah Stokes album's amazing, by the way.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
I really love that album.
Yeah, she's
amazing.
She really is.
She's a lot of fun, and she works hard.
Yes.
So yeah, great job on that one.
Thanks.
That's one I've definitely listened to. And then also in the touring and session job of being a bassist, are there any like cool stories you have like from on the road, or like someone that you worked with that was just like super interesting or fun time to be around kind of thing? I know you worked with Randy Bachman at one point.
Yeah. I don't know if there's too much of a story there because that was a pretty quick interaction. Well, two interactions really. One was on CBC First Play Live, where we were in Toronto playing through one of Brett's new records at the time. And I don't know how Brett connected with Randy, but he invited Randy to come out and play Taking Care of Business, and Randy agreed. And we were all just like, I mean, we were shaking in our boots. I mean, it's talk about icons, and playing one of his most iconic songs to boot. And so CBC First Play Live was the first time we worked with Randy, and it was very casual. I mean, he just came in and said, "Oh, okay, this is how I want the song to end. This is the map. Let's run it one time." So we did, and then they turned on the cameras, and off we went. And we had a little conversation afterwards. Very friendly, awesome dude. And that was really it. So I don't know if there's like a super fun story there. And then we performed with him one other time. I'm trying to think of. Oh, actually, here's a fun story. What was the year? It was probably 2017 or so. Brett had been asked to play at the MMVAs and to do a duo with Bebe Rexha. And at the time, she had done that duo with Florida Georgia Line.
Right.
And so we were going to do that tune. And so in advance, I'd been sent all the material from Bebe's camp for how the song was going to go, because she had already performed it with Florida Georgia Line, and they had a live arrangement that they were doing with her and her band and everything. So she said, "This is the arrangement that I'd like to do for the MMVAs. No problem. You're Bebe Rexha, you can call the shots." So I send that out to the band. Everybody learns their parts, and we're good to go. And then we actually get to the MMVAs for sound check, and Bebe comes out, and we run the song. And halfway through, she just stops. She's like, "Sorry guys, this isn't how the song goes. This isn't the arrangement that I want." I'm like, are you sure? Like, I have the email here, and I pull everything up, and we all put our phone or our ears to the phone, and we're listening to the arrangement that she sent. She's like, "No, this is the wrong one." And we're at sound check. Like, the performance is in, I don't know, 4 hours, and it's live. And so she goes, "Okay, is it okay if I send you? I'll have my musical director send you the actual arrangement that I want to do, and can we perform that tonight?" Like, "Oh, I mean, that's probably fine. I'm sure it's not going to be anything too crazy." And so it shows up in my email, and I open it up, and we all listen, and it's this like, I mean, incredible but very intense, like gospelized arrangement of the song with these like crazy shots, insane just drum fills and wicked bass work, and it's all over the place. And it's like, again, amazing, but like, we have a few hours here, and this is what she wants to perform. And you don't tell Bebe Rexha no. So that afternoon was one of the most stressful like 3 hours of my life for myself and everybody in the band while we obsessively just sat with our headphones in. We didn't even have access to instruments. Like, I think we went to like a mucho burrito down the road and just sat there and ate a taco bowl and listened to this arrangement over and over again and played it in our heads, knowing that we were going to be walking on stage with Bebe Rexha in like a few hours here to perform this live at the MMVAs. And it all went off without a hitch. All's good, but it was unbelievably stressful. Even getting to the stage was incredibly stressful for that gig because the handlers, they came into our green room and they say, okay, you guys are up in 15 minutes. You got to head out to the stage now. No problem. So they start walking us up towards the stage. And just before we're kind of in the backstage area, we're going down this hallway and there's these huge like bouncers, these big bodyguards. And they stop us. And we're like, oh no, we belong here. We just got to get to the stage. We're playing in 10 minutes. And they're like, no, you can't pass through here. And our handler's like, no, we have to pass through here. And they're like, absolutely not. Shawn Mendes was right behind them and he was chatting with some people. And essentially their job was to like make sure that there's space for Shawn Mendes. And so this area had been closed down. And so they said, you guys have to go wait over there. And when Shawn's done having his conversation, then you guys can pass through here. Now they're just doing their jobs. Like, I get it. And like everything I know about Shawn, he probably would have been mortified and been like, no, just let them through, guys. But they've been told that like, no, like you got to create space for Shawn Mendes. Don't let anybody through if he's like sitting and having a conversation in a hallway. So they put us off to the side and we're standing there and we can't leave. And the production manager is waiting for us and losing his mind because we're up in like mere minutes and we're nowhere to be found. And again, this is live. This is not pre-taped. So he's screaming and like, where's Brett's band?
Yeah.
And he's running up and down the hallways and finally sees us up in this little holding area where we'd been told to wait. And he just starts screaming at us like, get your asses down here now. We're like, we can't. And so he starts screaming at these bodyguards and they're finally like, oh, okay, fine. And so they let us through and like he starts running towards the stage. We're running after, we're just chasing him. By the time we got on stage, we're like sweating and panicked. And we've got this new arrangement to play that we just got 3 hours ago. That is the most intense arrangement I've ever heard. And then on go the lights and the cameras, and off we go to play this tune with Brett and Bebe. And I don't know, I'd have to watch it again to see if you can see it in our faces. But like that was one of the more stressful and crazy live performances I've ever been a part of.
That is insane.
Yeah. I'm stressed out.
Did you? So you never actually got to play the arrangement before you went live?
No.
Ever. Like you never had another sound check or nothing. It was just like,
It was just go.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's a sign of a true professional right there. Way to go.
So
life in the music world.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be ready for everything.
What year was that again? I want to look that up.
I think it was 2017, maybe 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Seriously.
What goals do you have for yourself now? I'm curious. And it could be business or music, but sounds like you've done a lot of the things you dreamt about doing and you get to live in music all day, every day.
Yeah. Like musically, I do feel like I've hit all my goals in a sense. Like there's still things that I'm really interested in doing, but like if it all ended today, I would feel fulfilled. I would be able to sleep knowing that like I didn't miss out on anything that like, oh, what if I had done this? What if I moved to this city? And what if I pursued this instead of this? Like, I don't think there's anything left that would like satiate a future regret, It's really, all my goals right now are, at least professional goals, are Plunge audio related. I was just actually having this conversation the other day about a friend of mine who's a bit of a business mentor and a coach. And he asked me, all right, what are your goals for 2026? And we really got into that. And it was so fun to just dream and unpack like what the next steps are for the company. And so, I mean, I don't know if you want to know like specifically what the goals are, but it's really, in essence, it's just to continue developing that company. And I want to create more jobs here in Calgary because one thing that's really interesting about Plunge Audio is like we are super connected to the music industry, and we are musicians ourselves. And both Simon and I have been in positions in life where like we were in a place where we weren't sure if we could keep doing music because like, oh man, it's just starting to take off and there's good enough opportunities, but like, I'm not sure if I'm making enough money where maybe I have to get a part-time job or maybe I have to get a full-time job. I don't know. And you're in these like places in life where there's all these questions. And both him and I have had people kind of come to our rescue. For me, it was a guy who actually owned a landscaping company in Calgary way back in the day, and he was a musician too. And when I was on the fence as to whether I could continue with music, he gave me a job that was super flexible where I could just kind of come and go, and he understood what I was doing. He supported what I was doing. And it was like, no, it's okay. Like when you're home, just come work for me. And then when you got to go, you got to go. And so with Plunge Audio, what I want is to create a company that has lots of job opportunities that are like unbelievably flexible so that we can bring in people who are in that place in their life where they've got this creative pursuit. Maybe it's music, maybe it's something else, but you know, some sort of artistic pursuit where we can be that place that can give them that, you know, extreme flexibility where when you're home, you've got a place to come, put in some hours, make some money, but then just go. Like we just want to empower people to be able to pursue their artistic endeavors maybe a little bit longer than they otherwise would be able to if they had to go and get a full-time job somewhere that wasn't as flexible and wasn't as understanding of the things that they're doing. And so my goal is to create as many jobs as possible that kind of facilitate that for as many artistic types as possible in Calgary so that we can be a bit of a vehicle to helping support and enable more creatives to continue with their pursuit and not have to, you know, look for plan B in their lives and give up on the thing that they want the most. Because we all know, like, it could just be you could be one opportunity away from everything blowing up for you. And I'm sure there's no shortage of people who, very unfortunately, the day before that one opportunity went, I can't afford to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. And who knows what could happen. And so ultimately, that's one of the goals that I have is to make Plunge Audio a place that facilitates that for as many people as possible.
It's very noble. Like it.
I do. That's great.
Leaders of the gig economy, if you will.
Yeah. And it, you know, it comes from a place of experience. Someone did that for me. So I just want to pay it forward.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
You are a very giving person, I've learned, and I appreciate that about you. You appreciate people and that work hard, and you want to, you know, recognize them when you can, which I appreciate. Which brings me to how you're helping out some top competitors in our YYC Songwriter Showdown coming up. Plunge Audio and yourself have committed to some prizing for them. So why don't you tell us about that? Because that is pretty amazing.
Yeah. So, because it's interesting, we've had some discussions about how Plunge can support, and it initially looked one way, and then I took that to Simon, and we had a bit of a conversation about it. And I actually really respect where Simon was coming from, where he said, you know, if we're supporting something like this, I want it to be the type of thing where like we're adding as much value to the end user, the participants as possible for the longest amount of time possible. And he's like, to me, that's by giving them in-ears, because that's something that they can have forever. And it's not a one and done prize thing. It's like, this is now a part of your toolkit as a musician that you can carry forward with you. And so what we wanted to do was just provide as many sets as possible. And so there's going to be, I guess, a certain round. It's when it gets down to the final 8, where
the Elite 8,
the
if
Elite
you will.
8, yes. Where everybody who kind of gets to that point and participates in the Elite 8 will receive a free set of Plunge in-ear monitors.
Which is amazing.
Very amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. we work with artists every day, book artists, work with them and helping them in their tours and things. And there's so many that don't have them.
Well, they almost all need in-ears.
And they don't have them because it's just that extra expense, right? Like,
absolutely.
Well, is it a need yet? One day, right? But I don't have a need. I don't have the money to get them. It might cost them 5 gigs to pay for a pair, so.
Totally.
Yeah.
And like more and more infrastructure in live performance venues is moving towards in-ear monitors. Like it's kind of a necessity at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, that's obviously exciting from a business perspective, but it also just like it's exciting from Plunge Audio being able to like empower and equip as many people as possible with something that, yeah, for sure they're eventually going to need.
Mm-hmm. If they don't already.
Yeah.
We have a venue for sure that requires them. So now it's like they have to rent them, right? If they don't have them. So, and spoiler alert, we asked you when we were meeting with you a few months ago if you wanted to be a judge, and you said, I don't know if I can because I might be too mean. But we convinced you you're not too mean. So you are going to be a judge. So we're really excited about that too.
Honest and direct, I think, is where we landed.
Yeah, we need, I think that's needed. So, and you'll be great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
I hope it goes well. Like I said, I have a hard time kind of beating around in the bush or sugarcoating things. And like, I will say what I'm feeling and I hope that's okay. But at the end of the day, I also know there's going to be some high quality, high caliber talent there. So, I mean, I could be 100% honest and also have it come out as nothing but praise. So here's, I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
It's a pretty amazing pool of artists.
If anyone, any of the artists are listening or watching this leading up to the showdown, they're probably going to walk into the room and see you there now and be like, oh, no, it's the honest guy.
No, we'll have fun.
Yeah. No, it's a great pool of talent we have. There was over 60 applicants for 32 positions.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it was actually a really difficult task to get it down to that 32, to be honest. A lot of heartbreaking no's in a way, because it's people we know and love and they're great. But
well, it'll be next year, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming, Justin.
Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you. And I think it's time to dive into the Chop Value Songs of the Week.
Yeah, brought to you by Chop Value YYC. Turning chopsticks into furniture and decor. Recycled chopsticks. Stylish and sustainable is what ChatGPT came up with for me on that one.
Stylish and sustainable.
That's so cool, though.
Yeah. Do you know them? They're a really interesting company. Yeah, Joanne Defoe, she's at the helm here in Calgary. They have their production facility just off McLeod and like Blackfoot kind of area. And we've actually done shows with her there. Like she moves all the production like the warehouse out of the way, and we've put up a stage and
amazing.
Yeah, like she's super into music, just wants to help like you. So she's just a cool woman that we love working with. So if you ever get a chance to check them out, they are amazing. And that's where our mixer is going to be for the
showdown.
The showdown. So we're doing a little party there.
Awesome.
Songs of the week. I usually start, so I guess I'll start.
Good.
Why not? Someone in our universe who we've done some shows with, wonderful songwriter, beautiful voice. She's our friend. She's done some songwriters rounds with us. She is a mom and a wife, and she also has a very big job as a counselor, so she doesn't get to perform as much as I would like, but she does have some great music, and her name is Justine Vandergrift. And the song that I really enjoy of hers at the moment is called Stay. Yeah.
Now that you say that, I feel like we did mention Justine before, but I don't think we can give her enough love.
She can have another one.
Another one, yes. It does get hard to keep track.
There's going to be repeats now because we've had 14 episodes. So,
but she's incredible, and she will also be playing at not the next Found Sounds, but the following one in March.
In Cochrane. Yeah. She lives in Cochrane. So
Noah Bolton will be opening up for her.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with an artist who is in the next showdown, and she was also in the previous showdown. She was in the Elite Eight, somewhat surprisingly, because we didn't know her at all. And I just find she brings such an infectious energy everywhere she goes. She's done a few shows with us now, and looking forward to seeing her at the showdown. And that's Veronica Rain from Lethbridge. And she's got a song out called August that is very good. And I'm excited to see what she brings to the showdown.
I think she released that song during the showdown last year. Actually,
I think
came out right.
It was in the showdown. If I like, she
and
played it.
And then it was released though.
Yeah.
Like, she did it before it was released, and then it came out like towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out Veronica.
Yeah.
No pressure, Justin. What do you got?
I mean, does it have to be
some people.
Something that like just came out?
No, it can be anything.
Like 10 years old. I don't care. Yeah.
Okay.
20, whatever you want to.
Okay, how tacky is it if it's a song that I was part of the production of?
No, this is great.
Absolutely.
And
please.
The only reason being is because like I actually used this song and one other as like an example of how to invest emotionally into a vocal performance. And it's a Kaya Gamble song called Photographs. She wrote this song from a very vulnerable place, and when she was singing it in the studio, we were just having like a hard time getting that real sense of like how she felt when she was actually putting pen to paper. And the fact is, like, she was feeling incredibly isolated and very lonely and hurt. And so we were trying all these different takes and ways to get takes, and like that conviction and the depth of the storytelling just didn't land. And so eventually it was like, okay, we're going to try something. And so we actually shut off all the lights in the studio, closed all the blinds, and made it pitch black. We said, Kaya, we're actually not even going to interact with you after takes. We'll get the next 3 or 4 takes where when it's done, we'll just wait 30 seconds in the darkness, and then we're going to hit play again. You sing it again. There'll be no feedback. We're not even here. And so the first take went, and it was like starting to move in the right direction. The second take, after not having interacted with us or even seen our faces for, at that point, like 10 minutes, like we're moving in the right direction. And by the 4th take, she actually felt like incredibly alone and in the dark and isolated, which we had to actually create the physical, like that had to become her surroundings, and we had to create that environment. And now anytime I listen back to that, I'm just like, see, there it is. That's what it's all about. It's just like delivering the emotion and the feeling that you felt when you wrote this song and why it matters to you. And so as far as like local artists go, there's so many that I love, so many great tunes. For some reason, that song just popped in my head as like an amazing example of conviction and storytelling.
Amazing. And she must have been quite young at that time, because she still is quite young.
She is, yeah.
Just a teenager.
I think at that time she was maybe 17, 18. Yeah.
Amazing.
Great story. Well, I think that does it. Any parting words, Justin? How can people find out more about Plunge
You forgot
Audio?
something.
What's that? Yeah, we'll skip that today.
Okay.
Yeah. Where can people find out more about Plunge Audio and your production and all that kind of stuff?
Just plungeaudio.com. As far as our production work, Invoke Music, which is connected to Sharp9 Music Management. So on the Sharp9 website, there's a bit of a bio and a write-up. And then, just check out Brett Kissel and Dean Brody, who are kind of my 2 live touring acts. If you're into country music, they do a great job of it. And that's about everywhere you can find me these days.
Amazing. You can do the thing.
And at the showdown. We'll see
and
you
at the
there.
showdown.
Yes.
We'll see you there. Yes.
I'm excited about that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, episode 14.
I don't know.
In the book.
Nice.
Thanks for coming,
so much.
Justin.
Thank you.